Hey, thank you for watching. This is a long video here. This is a two hour plus 2:17 it says on my screen here. So I recorded this to show you a real-time demonstration of how I use digital art, how I use Procreate, specifically Procreate on an iPad to paint this painting right here. I'm calling it the Fisherman, and I will show you everything I do and hopefully explain everything that you need to know about how I use Procreate. There are many ways to use Procreate and any art medium, really. But I have a lot of people asking questions about how I do it, and I've had a few asking for the full-length real-time videos. So this is one of them. I've done others. This might be the longest one I've ever done, though. But anyway, hang in there and stay with me. It's going to be a long ride, but hopefully you will enjoy it and see how I created this painting called The Fisherman. Here we go. Okay, well, this is another Procreate demonstration. I want to show you how I paint, and my intent is to paint a painting of sorry, I'm distracted by the technology here, by the thing that's recording everything. So I got this camera. The camera's here. It's actually my phone. It's right there, right there. You're looking at my finger. All right. So this is Procreate. If you've never seen Procreate, that's what the logo looks like. You can download it for your iPad on, I guess, the App Store, huh? Now this is my, I guess my what do we call it, portfolio. These are other works that I've done. And you can see I've done a variety of portraits and landscapes, and I've done some illustration for children's books and just a bunch of other things that I've done. But what I want to do now, I want to start from the beginning and show you everything I do to create the painting that I'm going to do, which is a fisherman. A fisherman at Lake Wauberg in Payne's Prairie Preserve State Park. And it's based on a photograph that I took while Robin and I were visiting over there. All right, so what I did right there, I kind of went through it kind of quick, didn't I? So let me go back out to the gallery. That's where we started. And what I did is I hit that plus button, and that's how I added the canvas, and I chose the 27 by 21 size canvas. That's the size I want because I eventually want it to be printable onto an actual surface, a paper or a canvas. And 27 by 21 is good because it's a large size, and therefore you can shrink it down to the smaller sizes. You can increase it somewhat, but you know, the more you increase digital art, the more pixelated it threatens to become. I want to show you the dimensions that I have here. So let me go to the canvas. Here's the canvas information, and here's the dimensions. The dimensions show that it is 27. Can you see that? 27 by 21, and it's 300 dpi. That is pretty high resolution. And what it will enable me to do, let me show you the layers. These are the layers. It'll enable me to have 6 layers because it's very high resolution and it's a very big picture. So whereas some settings will give you 50 layers, 100 layers, this one is only going to give me 6, but that's okay because that's what I use. So far it says I've used 1, but of course I haven't used any. But that's where I'm going to start, okay? So we're going to start with that, and we're just going to do this. Now, the picture I'm using, which I'll have to show you, I'll have to make a B-roll and show you the reference photo, but it's a guy, looks like a young man actually, from my perspective, fishing off of a dock at Wauberg, or Lake Wauberg, in Payne's Prairie Preserve State Park. What I'm trying to get at here is it's mostly a light grayish blue color. So let's see if I can look for that color in the color wheel here. let me get away from the wheel and go here. So it's a blue, and it's kind of that blue. I'm just going to guess at the color. I'm just kind of guessing. Now I use the square one, which is called the classic palette, and I'm going to go over to the disc palette. Here's why. Because you can go there. There's the color right there. There's the color, and there's the specific color, and you go across from it, directly across from it, and that's going to be the complementary color. Now you see what it did? It changed it completely to the opposite. Now that's what I want. And so you see the bottom layer, the background color, is going to be that color, even though the painting itself is mostly going to be the blue that I just showed you. So let's get started. And the first thing I want to do is I want to get the Fisherman. And so let's click here. And this is going to give me my brushes. This is where I choose my brushes. So let's sketch it first. Let's get a pencil. I'm going to use the Procreate pencil. It's kind of a no-brainer. Just use a regular pencil and make it black. And let's just get started. Now over here, for those who aren't familiar with it, this is where you can change the size of the point or the brush stroke, whatever it is. In this case, it's a pencil. And this is where you change the opacity. So I'm going to keep it 100% opaque. And I'm going to keep my pencil point that size. Very small, isn't it? It's kind of small. Oh, wait, maybe I should use a different pencil. How about this 6B? That might be a little bit bigger. Yeah, it looks a little bit. Oh yeah, that's better. Okay. So now 2 fingers. 2 fingers is how you erase things. So I'm going to erase all those marks. Okay. And there we go. Okay, now so I'm ready with my pencil, and I'm going to sketch in the Fisherman. Okay, so this is a real rough idea of him. So let's just go for it, and then I'll fine tune it as I go through it. Just sketching the man. He's got sunglasses on, and he's got a beard. Just a very rough, very loose sketch here. Okay, and we're going to fix everything later on as we get through this. Okay. There's his arm. Looks like it goes like that. Okay. You see this guy, he's wearing a hat. His hat's kind of a floppy hat. Has the front of it up, and there we go. And his arm is like this. He's got a backpack on also. That's important to not forget. So just sketching it in. Nothing has to be perfect here. The only thing perfect, if there is such a thing in art, is the look. The look has to be perfect. We're not going for the likeness. A portrait where the likeness is ultra important is not what we're going for here. We're not going for an ultra realistic portrait with a likeness. We're just going for the sense that we're seeing a fisherman who's fishing. Now, this Lake Wauberg, this Payne's Prairie Preserve, for those who don't know, is very close to the University of Florida. This looks like a young man, maybe just appears to be older than maybe college age, but I'm not sure. But we definitely saw him fishing. Robin and I went to the lake. We went to the park actually to see if we could get some photographs or video of alligators. And we didn't see any. And usually at this lake you do. Usually at this lake you see lots of them. So, all right, here's the hand that's holding the fishing pole. And the fishing pole comes out here like this. So, there we go. And keep that there. Keep going with them. And I'll show you some digital ways that I can improve the way it looks if I need to. Here's his backpack. The strap from the backpack comes down. Let's see, his arm goes up this way. Strap goes there. Yeah, it's all. And there's no hurry. There is no reason to hurry. It's kind of like guitar playing. Everybody's so impressed with speed, and the truth is, the better pieces had nothing to do with speed. Sometimes they do, but usually it's not that way. It's not necessary anyway. Now I could already guess that I've made him too big, but we can fix that. That's one of the beauties of sketching, is you can change everything, even on traditional art. You're sketching on a paper or on a canvas, and the idea is to let me get those two straps there. Yeah, the idea is to sketch it, because once it's sketched, you sort of have an idea of the composition. You sort of have an idea of where you want everything to go. I didn't really pay attention to that backpack. I should have paid more attention. So let me fix my mistakes there. Okay. Okay, yeah, he's got I have him too large. If this was traditional art, how would I do this? I probably would have been better off to sketch it on paper and then transfer it to the canvas. But in this case, I'm going to use the digital tools. And so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to grab the whole thing and make sure it's uniform. And I'm going to shrink the whole thing. You see? Now, I kind of like the way he looks there. I think I kind of like that look. Put him about 2/3 of the way over. So I don't want to put him in the center. All right, now we continue. So he's got. I'm going to erase a little bit of it. So here's the eraser. I'm going to use the soft brush eraser in the airbrush category. And that's just because it's an easy brush to use as far as erasing. So I want to erase the back of his pants just so I have a better grasp of what I was doing here, because it's kind of muddied up now with all those lines. Same thing over here. Yeah. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I'm just erasing now some of the stuff I don't really need. All right, back to the pencil. So there's the strap there. The straps are pretty much like landmarks. The straps are working as landmarks to me, to show me where things go. And there's the back of his pants. There's the other leg of his pants. I think his pants hang a little bit lower than that. Yeah, that looks more like what he's wearing. Yeah. And then the other leg here. And this leg comes over here. I think his leg is a little bit bigger than I gave it. Give him a little bit stronger leg. Okay. Yeah, I think we got him now. He is standing on the other side of the railing on the dock. I didn't put that in there yet, but I will. Yeah, he's got sandals on. Yeah, so there's our fisherman, and make his pole a little bit longer. There we go, a little bit longer. Okay, now, so I'm going to work on him, and then I'm going to work on the foreground and the background after I have him done. So what I want to do first is I want to go for his face. So I'm going to make his face really close. And the reference photo that I'm using, I'm going to enlarge it. You can't see it because it's on my computer screen in front of me. Whoops, don't want to do that. Get his face really close so I can see what it looks like. And there, I see it now. You can't, but I can. All right. Now what I want to do is I want to do my best to paint it in. This is the painting part. Okay. So I'm going to take another layer right on top of it. And I'm going to use a different brush. Now I'm going to use one of my favorites. Here's painting. Under painting, you see the blue highlight. It's highlighting the dry brush because that's also the last brush I used. I may end up using the turpentine brush, but let's see if I can do it with the dry brush. Okay, so tap that, make it go away. And now let's look for a color that will represent his face skin tone. So he's got kind of a reddy, reddish, brownish skin tone. I'm going to give it like that. It almost looks like the color of the background here, doesn't it? So I'm going to take this brush. Can you see that? Making this brush larger and smaller. So there's a good size right there. And let's just see how that looks. Now I'm going to scrub it in. I'm not going to tap it in. I can't even tell anything's happening there. Is that working? Yeah, it's working. See what it is? It's so close to the color that we're working on. So let me get rid of that for now. And I'm going to put a white background in there just for now so that I can see what I'm doing better. And then I'll put it back. Okay. So there's a white background. Let's take the sketch I did and put it over it. There we go. And let's take the part where I started to color him and put it over that. Now you can see that tone right there. So the eraser to get rid of this mistake I made here. And now let's go back to the brush and let's sketch him in here. Oh, it's white now. Okay, so I'm going to use this tone here. All right, I'm going to scrub it in. Just trying to get everything in here that's his face. There's not much of his skin showing because he's got the hat, he's got the sunglasses, and he's got the beard. And so all those things cover up his skin tone. But this is just a way to rough it in. Again, still roughing. It takes a while before I boil it down, so to speak, to the details of it. So there's what his nose. I'm going to type in. I'm going to paint in his nose. Let's get some. See, again, this white background isn't going to work either. So let me change that white background to a slightly darker background. Slightly darker. So I can see it better. There. That's better than white. Okay. All right, now we're going to give him his nose. We're going to give him this forehead here. And again, when trying to make it very loose, you might even call it impressionistic. Okay. And I'm trying to obliterate, obscure the sketch marks. I'm trying to cover the sketch marks with paint, and I'm just grabbing the colors that look like they would represent his skin tones and the shadows of his skin tones. Okay. Let's get a little bit of red in there, a little bit of red for his cheeks. He's got a little bit of rosiness to his cheeks. All right, let's try to get those sunglasses in there. Make this brush smaller. The sunglasses. Now I'm going to sample the color of his nose. That's how you do it. You just hold your finger on it, and it'll show you the color. Now I want to use that same color because the bridge of his nose disappeared when I had my brush set for the sunglasses. It was a little bit too big. Okay, now let's do the same with the sunglasses themselves. I think they need to be bigger. Yeah, and the frame of the sunglasses comes out here. Now let's get the bottom of his nose where there's a shadow. We'll keep that same tone because we can always change it later. Let's get this mustache here. Got the mustache going there. And he's got the beard going. So we're going to do our best to scrub that in as well. Yeah, his beard goes up like this. And around like that. It looks like he's either got long hair. I can't really tell from the photograph. It looks like he either has long hair or he has one of those hats that you can fold down and provide shade for your neck. I'm not sure what it is. And then I'm going to go over here with that same dark color. I'm going to get the inside of that hat. All right, now let's go back to the sunglasses. Let's make them darker. I'm going to make it bigger too so I can see it better. Here we go. There we go. All right, now let's take his his nose, his bridge of his nose, and make it brighter, because that seems to be where the sun is hitting him. He's got the forehead is also pretty well lit. And this color right here, this red cheek, I can use again. I'll add some of that to his nose. Just seems like it should have less white and a little bit more of that skin tone that he already has. And let's go ahead and make it darker here behind his eyes, where his eyes actually are, just so we see what looks like his eyes. Okay. And I'm going to go for some darker whiskers. It looks like he's got darker hair than what I've portrayed here. I think it will look good anyway in the picture. And again, we're not trying to reproduce a photograph. I'm just using the photograph as a reference. So now, again, if you were trying to do a portrait, trying to create a likeness of an actual person, maybe a movie star or something, maybe you got a clip from a movie or something you wanted to try to reproduce, yeah, then you have to be very careful about getting the accurate likeness and all the minute details that make a person's face what it is. If you look back on one of the other videos I did a painting of the pastor of the church I go to, Pastor Jeff, and on that one I kind of explain a lot more about the importance of likeness and how to capture the likeness, although the truth about capturing a likeness is that it's just a matter of focus. You have to really, really pay attention to what the person looks like. To repeat what I said in that video and in other videos, when I was younger, I used to do sketches at the Disney resorts and at the Universal Studios resorts here in Florida. And the way it worked is I sat across. This is before there was digital art, by the way. I sat across from somebody who wanted to have their picture done, and I would, with charcoal, just sketch them. Simple as that. And it was a learning experience. Absolutely a learning experience. All right, now I'm going to go for the grays. I'm going to go for a dark gray, even though I'm going to lighten it later. Here's where his hat comes up and down. It goes up and down, just like that. So I'm going to scrub it in. Okay. And go down here. It's very, very dark where it comes around here. So I'll change that, and it goes around, and then it goes. Let's see, it goes up like that. The underside comes here. The front of it goes around there. The top of it seems to do this. And it goes down, around, and then down to his back. So it's all dark right there. And then this comes up here. This seems to end right there. Just sketching in his hat now. I'm going to erase some of that sketching stuff I did because it's kind of getting in the way. So, all right, let me try my best now to get his hat here. Yeah, the sketch that I did is getting in the way for sure. So let's do this. Let me get to the layer where the sketch is, which is right here, and turn it off. Okay, so it's still there. See, it's still there. I turned it off. But I turned it off so that I can focus on his face right now, what I have here. Because you can see I got his face, and now that I have that turned off, maybe I can make the background, this color here, maybe I can make that a little bit more, let's see. Maybe make it a little bit more on the blue side, just so that it doesn't interfere with the grays that I'm trying to accomplish with his hat. Okay, now we got that settled. Go back to the brush. Still using the dry brush, of course. All right, let's get some of those gray tones in there. I'm going to start with the darker ones. Make this a little bit bigger. I'm just going to scrub in the whole thing, and then I'll get the lighting and everything right, hopefully. There it goes up a little bit. Looks like it goes up right there, right above his sideburns. That's the peak of his head. And I'm going to also scrub in some of the, whatever this is. I'm not sure by looking at it if I'm looking at his hair or if I'm looking at his, like some kind of a screen, a sunscreen or something. I can't really tell what I'm looking at right there. But it looks like his garment, his coat comes up like this. All right, let's go back here. Let's take that white that I just grabbed. Let's brush it in a little bit. And yeah. Oh, I'm on the wrong layer. Oh, jeez, that's a problem. See what I made a mistake right there. I put it on the wrong layer. That's frustrating. I didn't mean to do that. That's okay. So where did I put? Oh, you see some? I put some of that stuff there. That's not good. Well, that's just going to have to be the way it is. I'll have to fix that later. Okay. All right, so the highlighted means that's what I'm working on, and obviously I screwed up, but that's okay. Hey, it's good to show you in the demonstration video, which is what this is. It's good to show you how I screw up, because screwing up is something we all do, especially with art. Oh my gosh. Yes, there is no... This is art, not science, you see. In science, if you screw up, the rocket ship blows up or something. But in art, the rocket ship doesn't blow up. It's just that the picture looks crappy, so you got to fix it. And in science, I guess, if the rocket ship blows up, you got to fix that too. You got to do something next time so that it doesn't blow up. Let's hope it blew up with nobody on it. All right. And now I'm doing this part to try to get his hat the way it is. Let me get some more darks. Okay. Over here, some darks. And some lights over here so I can see that flap. Let me get the darks here. And some of that has some light in it too. Like I said, I'm not really sure what I'm looking at there in the photograph. I'm not sure if it's his hair or some flap. But here's a kind of a rule I go by. I don't paint what I know, because I don't know this guy. I paint what I see. So if I see, something that I don't understand what it is, I don't necessarily have to know what it is. I think the man is the fisherman is the most important part of this painting. The rest of it is going to be the lake behind him and the dock he's standing on. So while that's all important, and while that is all part of the art of the landscape, I really think he's the focal point in this particular composition. So there. Okay, now let me make this lighter here, and see this coming out here. Looks like it goes like that. And if you notice, I'm not tapping, I'm not putting little tiny brush strokes. I'm scrubbing. I'm keeping the point on the paper, on the surface of the iPad. And I'm doing that because it just makes it easier, makes it quicker, and it makes it more painterly, makes it look more like paint, which is something I like to accomplish. Looking more like paint. I think this needs to be a little bit higher, the edge of this here. All right, let's go for the gray. A little bit darker gray. Try to get these little folds and fabric, the look of fabric. It's a fabric hat, obviously. Let's get a little bit of light up here. There we go. There's a couple of holes in this hat. I guess those are ventilation holes. So let's put those little dots there. And then I'll take some white. And here's where I'm going to use the turpentine brush, because it allows me to do a much more detail. It's a much smaller brush. So I'm going to type, oops, that's way too opaque. So get rid of it, make it less opaque. Let's just put that on there, just a hint of it. Yeah, just a hint of that. just to make it look like those little holes right there. And in fact, it looks like there's light on the edge of the hat, so might as well, as long as I have the turpentine brush turned on, just get that lap, that edge. Yeah, okay. Same here. Let me make the turpentine brush a little bigger. And whoops, that's way too big. Yeah, just get some of these areas that the dry brush wasn't quite getting right. And again, do that. Try to see if I can make this look a little bit darker here. All I'm doing here is I'm just constantly changing the color slight different grays, because again, when you're painting a face, you're painting an object. You're not painting a wall. Like when you paint a wall in your home or whatever, you have one color, and you want it uniform across the whole wall. That's the way we humans like things, I guess. And so you have one color. But in paintings, like you see, I'm constantly changing. In traditional art, the way you accomplish that is you have your palette ready to go with numerous colors on there, and then you're constantly adding colors, and even on the palette or on the canvas itself, you're mixing even on the on the canvas. All right, I just noticed something that I wanted to add to everything. Let me finish the hat first. I'll tell you what it is. It's the sunglasses. I feel like I can make those sunglasses look like they have a little bit more reflective surface on them. So I just keep getting this white in here. And now he's got one of those a little bit floppy hat look, right? It's starting to look like a floppy hat. Yeah, see, this turpentine brush really is coming in handy right now, because it doesn't require as much scrubbing. It's kind of more like a real brush. So there's, I think I've got it now. I see a couple places I want to erase, so let me get the eraser again, keep it small, and let's just, oops, that was too much. Let me just grab this like this. Just a slight. That looks like it does that. And it looks like this goes around like that. Yeah. I have a couple of layers here. I guess I can see, I made that mistake of putting stuff onto that blue layer. Let me get rid of some of that. Whoops. Whoa. That's not what I wanted. Let me just use the color blue. Just cover over it. Okay. I guess that's right. Now let me go back to the layer I want, which is that one. There. And let's get his forehead kind of positioned right. Okay, I'm just doing the details now. You get the face, everything looking right. Now here's something I noticed. I'm going to add a little bit of light to here. I'm going to add a little bit of darkness over here to better define his nose. And probably the shadows of his hat and his sunglasses. There's probably some shadows happening here. Okay. All right, let's go over here. I want to take care of some of this this piece over here. Again, I'm not sure what that is. I'm not sure if that's his hat fabric or if there's hair in there. It's kind of hard to tell. We'll get some white. It looks almost pink, doesn't it? That's okay. Okay. And then this color that keeps showing up over here seems like it wraps around. And then we've got the strap, beginning of the strap for the backpack. So I'm going to put that in there. And like I mentioned earlier, that's going to be somewhat of a landmark, so I know where one thing is. A landmark, what I mean by that is if you're painting a face, the nose, the eyes, they all become landmarks. So you try to establish the distance between the nose and the eyes, the distance between the eyes and the nose and the mouth. And so that's what I'm kind of doing here. Let me put some gray in there to make it more reflective. Okay. I'll make that a little bit darker. That whatever that is, that's hair or something. I'm not really sure what that is. Might be hair. All right, I think I like him. I'm going to take this color. I want to bring it up here and kind of analyze it a little bit. I'm going to bring it over to blue. I'm going to add a little bit of reflection to his sunglasses. So I make it really big. Take this, bring the opacity down. And I just want to scrub in this little bit of blue here and also over here to indicate a little bit of reflection, probably coming off of the lake. And it helps establish that these glasses are, in fact, glasses. You see what I did? Can you tell the difference that made? Okay. All right, now let's go back to. Do I need this anymore? You know what I think? I think I kind of like that as a background for him, because that's kind of the opposite of him, whereas this is the opposite of the lake. But this is him, and I kind of like the way that looks. So what I think I'll do is I'm going to take him, I'm going to multiply him, duplicate him. I'm going to take this layer and I'm going to attach the alpha lock to it. Okay, see what I did there? Now I'm going to sample this color. I'm going to turn off everything. And what I want to do is I want to take that same color and I want to color what I just did on the alpha lock. Okay, just complete. Now this is like a wall. You just want to make it the whole thing is going to be one color. And I'm going to show you why. Let's show you why. Why am I doing this? Why does it look like I'm messing it up? All right, so you can see his profile now. And you see the black area? Well, that's the area where there is no paint. But it appears that there's paint because of the blue background. So what I want to do is, now that I had that, take off the alpha lock. Okay, turn it off. And grab the brush, turpentine brush, and let's just paint over all those areas that don't have this blue in it, because I kind of like that blue as a backdrop for him. And you don't want the other things to shine through as if he's semi-transparent. Okay. And of course, I probably will have to do this a couple times later on, but let's just see what happens right now. Okay, because I think I like the way this blue looks as a backdrop for him now. Now that I got it there, probably because that's what I was working with. All right, so now let's turn on the actual picture of him and bring that layer above it. Now look at that. It sits right on top of it. And that black no longer shines through, nor does that background color, which is going to be the background color for most of the picture. It's the complementary. It's the underpainting. And I want that underpainting to stay that color. All right, well, there we go. We have that done. I think we can get rid of this. We need to put the sketch back in there. And now we're going to work on the rest of the fisherman. We have his whole body to go still. His face was probably the most important part. So we have that done. Now, as far as that sketch goes, I'm going to duplicate the sketch just so I don't lose it. But I'm also going to turn one of them off, and I'm going to erase the sketch behind the part that we've got done, because we don't need it anymore. It was our reference. It was our placeholder. It gave us a way to begin. And so there we go. There is the painting of the fisherman's face. And that's part one. Now part two is going to be him, the rest of him. Again, it takes a lot of focus. And so let's just begin. I'm going to, again, zoom in on him. I'm moving around my reference photo. Okay, so I'm going to zoom in on his arm and basically his upper torso. And I'm going to start painting. What I want to do is, this over here. Let's do this. I want you to take it off. Turn it off, turn it on, turn it off, turn it on. See? That's why I did that. So what I want to do is I want to merge these two. So I want to merge that one and this one. So now that's one whole piece. His head, his shoulder, his hat. That's one layer. Now I'm going to add another layer. And that's going to be his torso and his shirt and everything. Okay? So let's just start. Shirt. I'm going to make it almost white, but kind of, in the blue family. And I'm going to go back to the dry brush. Make the dry brush rather large. And I'm going to scrub in his shirt. Now, I'm on a different layer, so I'm not messing with the layer we have done already. And I'm just kind of scrubbing it in until I feel like I've got his... the way his shirt looks, his arm and the far arm and the near arm. Okay. So again, I'm scrubbing. I probably can afford to add some more light to this area, more white, I should say. Because if you remember, that was his backpack over there. That was our placeholder. Okay. And just scrubbing it in. Now let's get it a little bit darker, a little bit more blue-gray. Some of these places over here where there will be shadows. The back of his arm, the bottom of his arm, his forearm. Okay. And let's make sure we don't forget all those folds that happen in fabric. You can have a little fun with this because it doesn't have to look exactly like the reference photo. And I'm not worried about the straps right now. I'm going to worry about them later. I'll make the point of the brush a little smaller so I can get these little folds in his arm, in the fabric of his clothing. And back here, the edge of his shirt. And let's see, the front of the shirt also has, actually the front of the arms looks like it's a little bit lighter than the rest of him, so there. put that there, and then let's make that a little bit darker. Yeah, again, I'm not trying to create another photograph. I'm not trying to reproduce the photograph that I am using. I would be crazy. I want it to look like a painting. I want it to look like something you might have seen in a gallery somewhere. So, and I'm keeping the colors a little bit in the blue side. The palette is a little bit on the blue side for most of this. I feel like that's kind of the theme I wanted here. One of the things I really like is when artists use the limited palette, because they don't go for like the whole spectrum, and they just go for a few colors. And that's kind of what I'm trying to do here. There we go. All right, let's get some dark over here. And then let's add some light back here where the light is making its way to the folds in his shirt behind him on underneath his backpack. All right, let's do the backpack. The backpack is a little bit on the green side, so let's add a little bit of green, make it very super dark. And we're just going to sketch that in, or rough it in, I should say. Very rough. Make this brush bigger, make it quicker. There. Yeah, just getting his backpack roughed in. All the little things we're going to find about his backpack as we study it. Okay. Let's get some darker areas in here. Okay. Let's get some white over here for his shirt. I'll worry about his hands later on. Get some black. He's got a black strap that comes down here. And this is part of his backpack, I believe. And it goes around like this. Okay. And then he's got this that looks like it wraps around his waist too, like a fanny pack kind of a thing. All right, now let's get some of that white back in there for his shirt. Some of the folds in his shirt, the grays. Okay. And I could always fine tune this later on. Right now I'm just trying to get all these folds from his shirt. Okay. Again, keep it dark. Let's get some more white in there. Little tiny areas here. Okay, back to his backpack. Looks like his backpack has a lot of different tones of green on it, so going to study it a little bit. All right, so there's the green that we use. Let's take that same green and get a lighter and less saturated version of it. So I'm going to scrub in some of that. It's a little bit too green and too saturated. Yeah, it's almost gray. There we go. There we go. Okay, let's get back to this dark green here and make the point of this much smaller. Getting all the little folds and shadows that are happening in his backpack. Again, you just get the same color. See, once I have a color, I don't worry about redoing it. I just grab it from the picture itself. It helps a lot. That's one good kind of a digital trick there. I like calling them digital tricks. Okay. Now you can see what's starting to look like. It's got folds. Whoops, I don't want red. It's funny, huh? Okay. Okay, let me just do some of that. This strap has another piece of that strap, looks like right there. Okay, all I'm doing here is I'm just studying the backpack. I gotta get that green back there. Let me get it. That's the easier way to do it. And I'm just trying to highlight some of the lights and darks, some of the shadows that are created by the folds and the lumpiness of his backpack. This was a rainy day that we went to Payne's Prairie Preserve, and it made for very, very cool lighting and just some really nice pictures too, not to mention the sound, just the sound of that rain falling. And you're in a place that is loaded with alligators, and so we were looking for them. We didn't see any though. We wondered if maybe alligators stay out of the rain like many animals do, even though they're water animals. I don't know. You probably know. You probably studied it, right? All right, so now I'm trying to get this backpack. Let's see. Just trying to make all the little... This piece goes out here, it looks like. And then it comes down here. There's a little area around here. So his backpack has lots of lumps and catching the light in many different ways. So a couple of very light areas too, so let me try and get them in there. There's a light area right there. I'm not sure what it is. Make it a little bit bigger. There's a couple of, like, maybe buckles and stuff that are... Yeah. There we go. Now we're starting to see it look like a backpack. Okay. I think that looks okay. Again, in the spirit of painterly paintings, I think we've got it. I think we've got that part done. Okay. Now what I want to do is just back out, make sure I like the way it looks. I'm going to take that layer, all that I did right there, that's that layer. I'm going to double it just to see what happens. Yeah, I thought that would happen. It made it a little bit richer. So I'm going to combine those two. Let me see if I can do the same thing with his face. No, that didn't really change anything. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to attach his body to his face, his head, and now you see that's all one thing right there. And probably can do away with the sketch. I'm not going to worry about it because it's not in my way right now. So this is what we have so far, and we're going to keep going from there. We're going to make this fisherman complete, and next part is going to be his pants, his short pants and the bottom of his shirt. So let me go down to that area, and let's grab the color I've been using for his shirt. And first of all, let's make another layer in case I mess up. So now we have another layer, and he's got his shirt comes down just a little bit through. Whoops, that's way big. Okay, goes a little bit through to this stuff over here, whatever this is, and his shirt just kind of sticks out a little bit. There we go. Let's do this. I wasn't really paying attention. He's got that fanny pack in the front, fanny pack, whatever you call that thing. So let's just do that. I'll scrub that in there. Some kind of a pouch you must hold things in. Okay, and that's got a brown look to it, so let's just give some brown shadows on it. There we go. All right, back to his shirt. And his shirt kind of does this. Okay, and here we go. And up like that. Now what I want to do is I want to get some of the darker areas and put a few shadows in there, and some of the lighter areas also, the very bright areas. Okay, that looks all right. Now what I want to do is his pants are almost that same color. So what I think I'll do here is I'm going to add this again to it, that color, because his pants are almost the same color as that other underpainting color. So I'm going to use this again, this blue, as a way to be able to see better the colors that I'm using. So what I want to do is kind of this color. It's got kind of like a khaki colored pants, I guess. So I'm gonna scrub them in. Just scrub them in. Let's see. That looks about right. He's got that strap. There's his butt. There's his back of him. Okay, I'm just scrubbing it in now, and we'll get to details in a moment. Let me get the brush a little bit bigger. You know, when you just scrub it in like this, sometimes it looks like it would work as a cartoon or as an illustration, like a basic illustration, not a detailed one. But okay, now let's take some of that and make some darker. I have to get the darker underneath the shirt, where the shirt hits the make it smaller than that even. Yeah, so this is all where the shirt is kind of connecting to the pants. Well, it's casting a shadow on the pants is what it's doing. There we go. We can always change that, improve on that later, but I just wanted to define that better. So his butt is right there, and it goes around like that. Now let's get some of these lighter colors where the light is hitting in the front. Some folds and some. There we go. Just kind of roughing it in. Okay, now we got to get some darker colors for the shaded areas. Okay, now see right here, that was a little bit too dark, so I'm going to kind of scrub it in. And over here's the shadow from his leg hidden, the shadow of one leg cast upon the other leg. And these are all just rough sketch folds to create that look of folds. Let's go for the light again. Let's get some light back here. Some of this light is reflecting back off of these folds here. And I can make it a little bit better than that. A little darker right there. Okay, now the straps from his backpack, it looks like they come down all the way down here. It's got that short one right there, and there's a long one that comes way down here. Okay, so I think that's how that looks right there. That looks like it's got a little clamp on it or something. It's a little something there. All right, now we got to do his legs. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to double his pants. See if that helps make him richer, and it did. And then I'm going to attach his pants. See, right now they're not attached, see? They come off and on. So I'm going to attach his pants to him, his shorts. Next, I'm going to put a new layer, and we're going to do his legs. We're making it down to the ground, down to the ground. Okay. So let's go for his legs. There they are. Let's grab some, what we might think of as a flesh tone for him, and we'll just kind of scrub it in there, and then we'll work about the details. Okay. So let's just try this. There's the curve of his muscle, and this one up here also. Did I do a new layer? Yeah, I did. Yeah, I want to make sure it's a new layer just in case I mess up. Okay. And then his foot comes down to his toes. His heel. His ankle. Everything comes up and goes up there to his lower knee, above part of his calf. And just like in the beginning, I'm intentionally trying to obscure the sketch underneath it, even though I'm eventually going to just get rid of that sketch, but that's just how I'm doing it. All right, let's get some lighter colors here. There's some light reflecting off the back of his leg, and some of this will be obscured also by the dock itself, because he is standing behind the dock. But I'm just going to do it now because I could change my mind. I could get rid of that dock actually, or at least the fence of the dock. What looks like, the railing, I should say. Okay. And his heel on that leg. All right, let's get some darker now so we can get these shadows in the front of him. A little darker than that. Okay. Okay, over here, the bottom of his feet. I'm not worrying about making individual toes. Again, my rule is to paint or draw what I see and not what I know. So I know he has toes. However, I don't necessarily see them. It's kind of vague in this photograph I'm using. But there it is. Let's grabbing some of these light colors. The light's hitting the top part of his calf here. All right, now let's get some dark for the sandals. Okay, there's that. And it goes around the ankle. And it goes under the foot. And this one is kind of obscured by the other foot, but I'm going to take this and put it around there and put it down there. And we should have, his two legs should look all right. I think they do. I'm going to take away the sketch just to see. Yeah, they're not too bad. I am going to double them. And I'm probably going to do, let's see, I'm going to attach them. Now what I want to do with them, I think, I want to do the same thing I did before. I'm going to double up him. I'm going to make an alpha lock layer of him, turn off the other layer, and turn off everything else. Well, I want to get this color sampled first. So there it goes. And I'm going to color him in now, just like I did before when I was doing just the face. This time I'm going to do the whole thing. His body, his face. I haven't gotten his hands done yet, but those are next. Right away, you can see the places where the background would shine through. Okay, like right there. See all those areas that are black? Those are the areas that are shining through. They're not really black, they're transparent. But anyway, so now what I want to do is I turn off the alpha lock, go back to the brush, and paint it in. Get those transparent areas out of there. Get them out of there. We don't want them. That was pretty quick, pretty easy. Now what we want to do is we want to put the guy back on there, put the layer on top of that. Now we have him there. I'm going to connect the two, merge the two, and now let's put the color back on. That looks pretty good. I'm going to put this back on because I need to do his hands now. But I think that looks all right. That looks very much like what I was hoping a painterly image of him would look. I probably could improve those legs a little bit. Let me do that right now. I'll just do it right on the same layer. And what I think I want is for them to be a little bit more defined, and yeah, that's all it needed really. Yeah, just get those shadows where they should be. Okay. Yeah, that looks all right. All right. Now our guy needs some hands. So let's get that sketch back in there. And there it is. Okay. Now let's look at his hands. We're going to get his hands. His hands are pretty important. They are obviously what's holding the fishing rod. So I want to be able to see what I'm doing with them. My reference photo on my computer screen is now getting large so I can see what I'm doing. Okay, so let's take these two hands now. Let's do one at a time. Let's do this hand first. And I'm going to use a separate layer because I don't want to mess it up too bad. And I'm going to stick with that brown right there. Okay. Now take this. Let's first get about the shape. It comes out of his sleeve right there. Okay, and then it goes down. This hand goes down like this. And this is the shape of his hand. There's nothing detailed about this. This is just the basic shape of what I'm looking at in the reference photo. And there we go. That might be a little bit too far up there. Let me erase some of that. Do it over again. All right, yeah. Because there's the top of his sleeve. We've already established that. Just erase a little bit. There we go. Just doing it over, basically. All right, there we go. Okay, we can always fix his sleeve also if that doesn't work. All right, let's now that's his hand. We're gonna make it better though, trust me. Okay, let's go for the really dark areas, the shadows. And this is gonna be, let me use the turpentine brush for this. Needs a little bit more detailed. So I'm gonna, let's see, I'm just gonna sketch in. There's a finger there. There's another finger, let's see, there. Another finger there, and his pinky over here, and the shadow comes down like this. Okay, so you can see how it has that look of a hand already. However, it's very, very basic, very, very rough. And we're going to fix that. Okay, yeah. There we go. Now let's take some of those lighter colors. A little bit too opaque. Let's make it less opaque. Okay. A little bit more than that, I guess. Okay. So his hand comes out from there. Goes to the end of his finger, obviously. And then over here, the light shines on that hand, or that part of the hand. Okay, I'm just scrubbing it in still. This one has some light on it. And this one has hardly any. But the whole hand has light, so this hand has, this kind of fans out from there. And the light on this hand fans out a little bit. Here we go. A little bit at a time. Okay, let's go back to the darker colors now. Let's continue using the turpentine brush. And I think I'm going to make this jacket, or the sleeve rather, a little bit more defined here. Yeah, we can take that. Let's see, make some. Yeah, there we go. All right, I'm not so happy with this hand yet, but I'm going to keep working on it. I'm going to add a little bit more pink to it, I think. I think his hands have a little bit more pink going on there. Whoops, way too much. Okay, very opaque. We don't want that much. Okay. Yeah, I can see a little bit of pink showing through there. Okay, let me get rid of that pink. It's almost too obvious, right? That is there. Let me make it a little bit less opaque. I mean, more opaque. Okay. And the hand it's got so many different things going on inside of the hand. You know, we got all kind of veins. So let's just make sure we have shadows where they probably would be. I'm not a doctor, so I don't know where everything is in the human body, but have you ever studied like Audubon or some of the artists that actually would, back in the old days, would dissect animals, birds, in Audubon's case, right? Just to have a better understanding of why they look the way they look. And I guess it helped science also. Okay, how's that look? All right, now the real key here is going to be to look at it to pull it back. I think that looks all right. Now what I want to do, easy, this is an easy shot. Let me just double it up. Yeah, make it a little bit more rich. And then we're going to attach his hand to him. And probably that looks all right. Now some of this area is going to have to be fixed. I think I'll do that right now before I forget. So some of this white area that I just did with the turpentine brush, I'm going to continue a little bit. Otherwise it'll look out of place. Yeah, so yeah, that looks good. That looks good. In fact, I think I'll do that up here. Get some of that white up here. Put it on the other sleeve too. All right, we got one hand done. Let's do the other hand. Whoops, I hit the microphone. Hope I didn't blow your eardrums out. All right, let's get the other hand now. So the other hand, let's look at it closely. Let's do another layer, and let's work on the other hand. Again, let's go to the orangish, brownish tones. I'm going to continue using the turpentine brush. Looks like that hand comes out like this, and the thumb goes over there like that. And this is the hand that's holding the fishing rod. So we got to make it into a position where it's holding it. Okay. So there's that. Holding it. Can you see it? Okay. All right, let me try to figure out where this fishing pole is, first of all. I think the fishing pole is right there. Maybe not. Maybe it's closer to here. Okay. Yeah, I think I made it the wrong angle. So I'm just going to try to reposition everything. Make the fishing pole like that. Now let's get the hand back in there. His thumb way out there. That finger there. Okay. All right, I'm not sure that looks right yet, but we'll figure it out. All right, let's get some darker colors here. There's the underside of his thumb, and here's this index finger coming up here. His middle finger coming up here. This over here is his pinky poking, not his pinky, but Wait, this would be his index finger right here. Right, and this would be his middle finger. This would be his ring finger, I guess. Right? And then I don't know where his pinky is. I don't see it in the picture. But we're just going to create this. This is the fishing pole, or the rod. The rod. Okay, now let's get some lighter tones in there. Okay. I don't really have enough information here in this picture to really give me any details about this fishing pole. So if you're a fishing person, if you're a fisherman, and you're looking at this pole and you're thinking, that's an L-Rod 9480. Well, it might be. I have no idea. But I'm just painting you now what I think looks like a pole, because this is a painting. This is not a Sears catalog or something. But we wanted to kind of give it the look of him holding the pole, of obviously, if he's fishing. And I'm going to do the same thing I did on the other one. I'm going to adjust the sleeve a little bit over here. Hey, this was a day in June. He was kind of dressed kind of warm for a day in June. Of course, it was raining that day, so. Get some of this light on his fingers over here too, a little bit, I think. Now let's see how that looks. Yeah, I think that looks like he's holding a fishing pole. What do you think? Of course, I have it bent a little bit, but that's okay. I can fix that. All right, now with that, I'm going to do the same trick. I'm going to double it up and connect those two to each other, merge them together, and then, of course, merge that with the rest of him. And now we have the fisherman painted, and he's completely there. I do still have that one mistake there on that blue that I did earlier. I wonder if I need to worry about that. No, it doesn't look like it. Looks like I handled it okay. So I won't need this layer of blue much longer. In fact, I probably don't need it at all anymore. And I don't think I need the sketch anymore either. So I'm going to turn the sketch off. So now we have the fisherman. I think he's holding some line in this hand, so I'll try to get that in there as well. But now we've got his fishing pole out there. How about that, huh? Huh? All right, now let's think about what we're going to do next. I think what I want to do next is I want to do the same thing. So I'm going to duplicate him and create an alpha lock layer. Turn this layer off. Turn this off. Wait, we want this layer on. So let's get that sample. Now we turn that off. And we're going to paint over him on the alpha lock layer. That's the layer we want. And we've got everything. We're just going to cover everything. Everything should be pretty opaque at this point, but I just want to be sure. Just want to be sure it's opaque. Because I don't want, see, what I want to be able to do, the reason I do this is I want to be able to paint the background without having to paint around him. And that looks pretty good. So there's really no transparent areas coming through. But I'm still going to use that anyway. I'm going to connect that. I'm going to get rid of that alpha lock so I don't mess up. And I'm going to put him on top of that. There we go. All right, now let's go to the original background color. We can now get rid of this one. We don't need that one anymore, so we're going to get rid of it. The reason I want to get rid of it, if you remember in the beginning, we had 6 layers to work with. Remember? I think it's what it said, 6. Now here's the sketch without his head. We certainly don't need that anymore. I think I'll keep the original sketch, though, just in case for some reason I might need it. I don't think I will. I'm going to turn it off, though, because it's kind of getting in the way. And now I just think I want to get a little bit more detail on this. What do you call that? Oh gosh, fishing pole. Again, I'm distracted by the equipment here. Okay, so basically the pole is a very simple pole. It just gets narrower and narrower as you go farther away from him, and it goes way out here. So his fishing pole. Let me do another layer now so I don't mess it up. There's his other layer. I'm going to get a dark color. I'm going to use the turpentine brush because it enables me to do skinnier. And I'm going to do a fishing pole. Whoa, that's way too big. Way too big. Okay, how about this one? If you hold it, watch what happens. Hold on, I messed up. Watch what happens. If you hold it steady, see how it straightens out? Now I know it's probably not a completely straight fishing pole. It probably has a little bit of a bow to it. So what I want to do is I want to take that line, and that's a separate layer, right? Yep. So I'm going to double it up just so it's a little darker, and then triple it up, make it really dark, and then put them all together. Now, I want to take that line. All I have is that line. And I'm going to use this distort feature, and I'm going to bend it a little bit. So it's not completely straight. So it's got a little bit of a bow to it. See, I'm bringing the top down, the front down, and the middle up. And let's bring this down to where he is. And let's use this warp feature too. Yeah, that's better. Oh, look at that. Now, how do you like that one, huh? That looks pretty good. Except it's a little fat, so let's skinny it up using the eraser. Let me get a fine eraser. Maybe something smaller and more defined like that. Okay, that's very opaque. What we want to do is shave it down. It's going to be very skinny at this end. Very skinny. And then get a little bit fatter as it gets closer to his hand. And then up here, at his hand, I can take this and make it work better than it was. So there you go. A little bit darker. There we go. And a little bit of light reflecting off of it. All right, now let's go ahead and take this and make the pole itself a little bit more three-dimensional looking. Whoops. There we go. Scrubbing it in. All right, there's his pole. And it's okay. It's just no big deal. It's just a pole. And I will now attach it to him. So now the fisherman and his pole and everything else about him is all one picture. And it's all one layer. Now we get to do the background. We get to do where he is. Okay, so let's first do what he's standing on, and then let's first do the background, the actual background. Okay, because there might be some changes, and I might have some changes in my mind. So let's take another layer. Now this layer, can you still see that I moved it sideways like that? Okay. Let's take this layer and pull it down under him. Now that layer's under him. Let's get that dry brush. Watch how fun this is now. Now we're going to paint the background. And it was a hazy day. It wasn't a beautiful blue day. It was a hazy day. So I'm going to take that hazy blue and I'm going to scrub it in big time. Now this is behind him. See, I'm not painting on him. I'm painting behind. Whoa, something just went clickety click. Oh, hold on. I have a phone call. So I might have to continue this. Hold on. I'll be back. All right, so I had to answer my phone, and my phone is what I use for a camera. So now let me go back to painting. So here we go. So what we want to do is we want to paint the background here. Make sure it's behind him. It is behind him. Okay. So I'm just scrubbing in this very, very undramatic sky. There's nothing happening in this sky. However, okay. All right. There we go. Make it a little bit lighter toward the horizon. Just to I give it a little bit of a, I don't know, a painterly feel, I guess. I don't know. And a little bit more gray up here because it was a gray, rainy day. And we wanted to reflect that a little bit. I do anyway. There we go. And we got this nice gray, gray sky. Okay. Now what I want to do is I want to put the tree line at the other end of the lake. This is Lake Wauberg, Wauberg, Lake Wauberg. Okay, now this has a very similar color to it, but it's darker. So what I'm going to do is create the tree line here behind the Fisherman and everything back here. So yeah, this is just scribbling in, scrubbing in the tree line. And I'm going to show you how I create the straight line for the edge of the lake in just a second. But it's kind of a hazy day. The tree line is a little bit in the mist of it all. And the fisherman is just enjoying his time. I hope he caught something. I hope he had luck that day. I don't know. Did I mention earlier, this is near Gainesville, Florida, which is a college town. I don't know that this is a college student. I have no way of knowing that. I don't know the guy. He just ended up in my photo, in my video. Actually, I took a screenshot of my own video. Okay. So there's what I think is the background. I'm going to add a little bit more, make it a little bit less obvious. I think it should be a little bit hazier. So that's why I'm doing this. There, now you can see those trees almost. It's almost like they're kind of hidden in the fog, right, in the mist. All right, now we want to do the lake. So let's do another layer for the lake. And what I'm going to do for the lake is obviously put it over the sky. And it's a different layer, but I want to make it a lot brighter. And I'm just going to scribble it. Watch this. This is just my way of making a super, super quick lake. Okay, and I want that straight line to be a straight line. See how I do. I could do this. And hopefully I get it straight. Okay. And what I do is to check it. I'm going to do that. I'm going to put it on uniform. I'm going to raise it up to the edge. And I'm going to clip it right there. Right there. Then I'm going to pull it back down. So it's like right about there, I guess. Not sure where I want to put it. Okay. So now there's the lake, sort of, kind of. Sort of, kind of. What I mean by that is I have nothing in stone yet. But I'm going to keep that layer as the lake, and now I'm going to scrub it in some more. And we're going to make sure it looks like it has some real lake effect to it. Okay, now right now it's going to look like he's standing in the water, but he's not. Don't worry, he's standing on a dock. Don't worry, he's not in the alligator pit. I don't know if you can hear the car outside, loud cars. All right, and I'm just scrubbing in this large blue area. Okay, and we got this large blue area. Now let's take some slightly darker colors and add it to here. A little bit of blue, a little bit of dark blue, like dark gray. Okay, just all these colors. I'm going to keep it kind of bright not at the horizon, but where the lake meets the tree line. And there we go. All right, so I want to make sure we have all of this looking like water, because it's not going to be completely all water, but I want to cover the whole thing so that I can later on cover this part with the dock where he's standing. All right, now that we have that, let's think about how to make waves. When you learned how to make waves as a kid, you know what you did? I'm going to show you what you did. But you probably did. You probably did this. Right? Didn't you do that to make waves? Right? Well, guess what? It actually is the way you do it, just not so exaggerated. So let's get rid of them, and let's go back here. Let's do those. Let's do little tiny waves like that. Okay. See what I'm doing? I'm actually doing that same motion that we learned in kindergarten. These little tiny waves, and I just have a lot to do. So I'm just going to do as many as I can. Just going to keep adding them, and see, as you get further in the back here, obviously you won't be able to see them because they become smaller and smaller. But here, close to the front, you have these little waves. It's not an ocean; it's a lake, and so the waves are very, very small. It was a windy day, and so they were probably a little bit bigger than they would have normally been. But okay. And again, going back. See, I'm actually doing that same motion, but very, very subtle, very, very little. It's going up and down. And I don't know if you can tell on my hand how I'm doing that over and over and over again. And some are going to be bigger than others. Some are going to be darker than others, and they will all connect in some way. Okay. And by the way, you can see the orange underpainting now showing through, and that's what I wanted. I wanted to have that show through. It's a complementary color to the blue, which I knew most of this picture was going to be blue. We established that early on in the video. And I did that so that, I picked the orange so that it could be a complementary to the blue and kind of peek through. Even though it mostly would be obscured, it is a way to make it pop, make it stick out, make it look very cool. And if you ever try to do this with actual paint or traditional art, you will see how cool it is to do this. There's a couple times when I forgot to do it, or I didn't think I should do it, and it always looks better when you do it, for me. Although, I guess there's an asterisk next to that. It's not always true. Yeah, it does look funny with him standing in the water, I know, but we're going to fix that in a little bit. Okay, so you see how it's starting to look like a lake, like the water. See that? It's starting to work, right? Starting to look like choppy water on a lake. All right, now what I want to do is I want to take that, I want to go for some lighter colors. And now I'm going to scrub in some of this where the sun or the sky is reflecting off of the surface of the water, just at the cusp of these little ripples, these little waves. And the sunlight is very subdued by the cloud cover, and that subdued light still makes its way to the earth and to the surface of the water, and those little reflections are what define this whole surface of this water. It's the reflections and the shadows, and that's what makes water look like water. It's reflections and shadows. So you can see it's starting to look like a rough surface lake. Hopefully you can see it. Some of the small areas are smoother, some of them are rougher. So because of that, you want to just kind of pay attention to the reference photo that you should be using. I think you'll have better results if you do use a reference photo, as opposed to trying to do it straight out of your memory of how things look. We have a tendency when we use our memory to paint what we think rather than what was actually there. So it's going to look like water now, huh? Like a lake. And the fine-tuning will happen as we get closer to the finished painting. Some of these parts in the back are lighter than other parts. All right, now what I want to do with that is I want to double that. I just think it'll be richer. Let's see if I'm right. Yeah, it is. It is definitely richer. So let me put the two together. Let me double the trees and the sky. And I will do that. And I actually think the sky now needs to be more like the land. I'm sorry, the water. So I'm gonna connect these two. I'm gonna merge these two, and I'm gonna lighten this sky. I think the sky needs to be lighter. I think it needs to be more like what the water looks like, because ultimately the water looks the way it looks because the sky looks the way it looks. So there wasn't much going on in the distance as far as the trees. There wasn't like this amazing drastic change in the height of the trees. They were kind of all uniform, and so I'm sticking with what the reference photo is showing me. And like I said, it was a rainy day, so everything was kind of a little bit hazy. But I think that sky needs to be a little bit, and those trees maybe a little bit more obscured. Okay. All right, now we have our fisherman. I think I want to make the trees a little bit more. I don't want them to interfere with his head as much as they are. So there's the trees. All right, now you see we have our tree line. Maybe make a little bit, a couple of dark areas back there, just to And you see this whole time I'm painting this, the background, it is behind him. You see, there's his layer, and there's the water and the sky now in one layer. And now it looks like he's standing on the water, which we have to fix. So here we go. So let's not worry about that. You know, we don't need this sketch. I'd like to get rid of that sketch layer. So there it goes. Deleted it. Now watch what happens when I turn off the background. Can you tell by looking at it on the video? Can you tell that makes a difference? See, it just is a subtle little difference. A subtle, whoops, I don't mean to do that. A subtle little difference in that orange peeks through just a little bit. All right, so we're going to keep that on. Now we're going to have two layers for the dock. The first one is going to be under his feet and over the water. So that's where we put the layer, right there, under his feet, under him, and over the water. Okay, and it is a gray dock. So let's make it a gray dock. He's standing right on the edge of it. And here we go. Take the dry brush, and we're going to make this the very edge of the dock where he's standing. The dock kind of cuts off right there. All right, so this is all the wood of the dock. The dock is made out of wood and has different panels of old wood. Looks like to me anyway. It's all been grayed out, washed out by the sun. And he's standing right on the edge of it. A little bit of a hint of a shadow there. All right, now let me get some of these whites here, these light grays. Try to make it look like some wood, like it's all wood in there. Let me put some dark lines in there. Am I using the dry brush? Yeah, I am. Just wasn't sure what I was using. Actually, what I want to use right now is the turpentine brush, because I want these little tiny fine lines. Let me make them darker. Just to see if I can make it look more like panels of wood. Yeah, you see it, right? You see what I'm doing. All right. It's probably a little bit of exaggeration, but all right. Okay. All right, now let's go back to the dry brush. Dry brush and get some of these light colors again. Whoops. And some of these darker colors. I don't necessarily need that to be blue, more like a dark gray. Okay, now let's dot it up a little bit. Just dot it up a little bit and make it a little less perfect. It's a little bit too. It's almost too much like a coloring book or something. Just let's get some of these lighter colors in here too. Okay, Now I told you I wanted to do one behind him and one in front of him. That's because he is standing not on a dock without a railing. There is a railing there. So let's go ahead and put that railing in. Basically, it looks like it goes up here. And it looks like there's a railing there. And then it comes across here. It comes across like this. So now you can see what I was talking about with the railing. We can make it a little bit more like that. Looks like there's another post here. There's a post behind his leg, which you can't see. There's another post here. I think I can go ahead and make that across there as if it's really there. Okay. Yeah, that looks better, I think. All right, and then let's see. We'll just keep going across here. So there's where he's standing on the dock. Now let's just make that look a little bit more. Let's see, give him a little bit of... Now let's just continue making that look dark like that. Yeah, there we go. That's better. All right, now obviously the sunlight is on top of it. So I want to make sure I get some of that. Whoops, make it lighter. I don't want it so blue. Okay, so there's the light on top of the railing, and there's some happening down here. There we have that. No, I'm not sure that I want to do what I was going to do originally, but we'll see. We'll experiment a little bit. I wanted to put the railing in front of him here, because there is a railing that goes this way, but I kind of like it like that. I think the light's coming from that side over there, so... Yeah, I think I'm just going to keep it like that. So what I was going to do, let me try it just to see if I like it. So I was going to put a layer on top of him, and then I was going to create another railing here. That sort of went over here. I don't think I like that, though. And then it would be much wider, much thicker. And you see this railing would connect to that over here. Not sure if I like that or not. Let me just keep working it and see if I like it. I'm not sure right now. It's okay that I'm covering his feet, because I kind of knew that was going to happen anyway, but I'm not sure I like that. As far as the composition goes, and get that light on the top of that thing right there. It's very rough, it's not very artsy, is it? But I don't think I like it. Let me get rid of it. Oh, I definitely like it without it. There's with it, without it. Oh, get rid of it. It doesn't need to be there. It does not need to be there. So there is the painting of the man. Now, as I look at it, I feel like his left hand is a little small. So I'm going to fix that. Let's go back to him. And let's grab this thing and take his hand. And I'm going to make his hand larger. So we got to be very careful not to do it too large. But it's got to be at least as large as his other hand. Okay, so I made it larger. That's much better. Oh yeah. Now let's fix this. Let's fix his hand a little bit. Some of these colors we used before to create his hand. Let me use that turpentine brush. It's a little bit more specific. There we go. I think I can erase also this little piece of his hand. I should have fixed that before. Oops. Let me fix some of that. Now I'm going to try to put in the line. Try to put the line in. So I'm going to put a separate layer just for the line. And the line is, I'm going to make the line white. I'm going to use the turpentine brush. I'm going to make it as small as possible. So here's, wait, can you see that even? Can you even see that? No, I can't even see that. Where is it? Whoa, that's way too big. All right, small, small, small. Nope, still too big. Okay, smaller than that. It's maybe too small. Let's see. There. That looks good. You can just enough to see it. And what I want to do also is I want to make a little bit of line coming out of his hand. There it is. So, yeah, he's holding on to the line. And it's frozen. All right, there we go. So that's the whole painting. And thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed what you saw here. It was a long session. I don't know how long it took. I have a phone call coming in. I'm not done yet, though. I'll be right back. Okay, well, this is the final part. I just took my phone call, and I did want to try one thing. I feel like it's a little flat, and maybe I could make that better. So I want to show you a digital trick, a digital tool. I'm going to add another layer. Wait, what's this layer? That's the string, isn't it? That's the fishing line. All right, let me just put that together with him so that I can open up another layer. I'm going to open up another layer. Now, this is kind of a cool trick, and it might not work. I might not use this, but I go here, click that little N, and I go down here to where it says multiply. See where it says multiply? So now there's an M there and not an N. So it multiplied it. Now, I'm going to multiply it with a specific color. So I'm going to try to get like the blue, that everything is kind of the theme of this thing is blue, but kind of a gray. Now watch this. Watch what happens. The whole thing became darker. I hope you could tell that in the video. But what I want to do is not make the whole thing darker, but just the man. So I want to take that and I want to use the clipping mask. Now you see this. You see the man is darker. So what I want to do is show you back and forth. Let me put him out of there. So there's the with the mask, with the what do you call it? The multiply layer, and there's without. So you see he's a little bit darker with it, and I kind of like that. But I also want to make sure he's highlighted with light. So I'm going to take my eraser and I'm going to bring it over to one of these very soft airbrush erasers, one of the small ones. So there's a small one, and it's a soft one. And what I want to do is I want to very carefully erase some of that multiply layer so that we can see the sunlight on his hat. So here we go. Make it a little bit brighter. Right there. On the front of his face. Okay. On his shoulder. On the top of his backpack. And what I'm trying to do here is kind of create a little bit of dynamic with the light. If you were doing this with traditional paint, you would simply paint it this way, obviously. But one cool thing about the digital tool is you can experiment a little bit. And if you don't like it, you can undo it. So I'm just trying to capture some of these lights that are on him. There's light hitting the back of his leg. Light hitting his... And this hand is kind of dark. So now I feel like it's more accurate as far as how he looks. I also feel like I could do something better down here with shadows, and also with the railing. But anyway, just to demonstrate. So there's our fisherman with the multiply layer turned on and with it turned off. Do you see how washed out he looks? How nice he looks. Oh, see how much better that looks. Doesn't that look good? Oh, you know what we need to do also? We need to erase where the string is, because we want that string to be seen. And that goes over here too. So we can see that line. And that's it. I think that does it for him. He looks pretty good with that multiply layer turned on. Yeah, that's definitely an improvement. Okay, so now that we have that, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 layers. If I connect this to that, it might not work, but if it does, I'm keeping it. Let's see. Yes, it worked. Okay, so we have it now. We have it the way we want it. And this is that. So I'm going to take that layer right there, and I'm going to try to improve what I did earlier with the railing. I just feel like it could be better. What brush am I using? Okay, I want to use the dry brush. Doesn't make that much difference really with this, but I feel like it could be better than it is. Yeah, that looks a little better. I know it's kind of a minute difference. There. Let's make some lines over here. Yeah, I think there would be more character to the wood. I didn't do a good job putting character on that wood. Okay. What do you think? Do you like that? So we'll just call it the Fisherman. I am going to sign it now. My quick spiel about signing paintings. Now that wood looks a lot better. I'm really happy with that wood now. Okay. Now I'm going to get very close to the corner. I'm going to use the turpentine brush, and I'm going to use a very light color, and I'm going to write my name. Here's my little spiel about signing paintings. You don't really sign paintings for yourself. You sign them for the ultimate purchaser, the person who's going to have your painting, whether you gave it away or sold it. People like to have the name of the artist on their paintings. It's not an ego thing, so don't think it is. It's actually a very giving thing, because the person who gets it will definitely like to brag that they got an original from you. So I made my name too big, so I have to do it this way. I'll show you what I do here. Shrink down my name. You know my name, look up my number. Did you ever hear that song by the Beatles? You know my name. Now take the 2023, move it over here. Now take the whole thing, make it smaller. I'm not trying to be too egotistical here, just let people know who did it. And then I will shrink it down. And there we have our painting of a fisherman at Lake Wauberg, Wauberg, in Micanopy. Is it Micanopy? I think it is, but it's south of Gainesville. And there you have it, a fisherman catching his lunch, I hope. You know, I'm not happy about something here, though. I'm telling you, that one area right there looks fake. That doesn't look good. That shouldn't look like that. Okay, let's get back to the thing here. There's no way that would look like that. So sorry, I'm not done yet. I have to have some really more intense dark shadows here. He clearly wouldn't. You clearly would be able to. You'd have to be able to see this. Now I am using a turpentine brush. I probably should use the dry brush. Yeah. I think that's better. It was just a little, it was bothering me. That's all, it's frozen now. Come on, unfreeze. Come on. We're done. We got to unfreeze you. Here we go. All right, so there's our fisherman. You know, there is one other thing. I'm going to copy the whole thing, and then paste the whole thing. Okay. So what I just did now is I made a layer that's what's the whole picture by itself. The reason I did that is I just want to try one thing. I'm going to use curves. Let's just mess with it a little bit. A little bit of red. A little bit less green. A little bit less blue. All right, now let's kind of compare that. We're working on the color scheme now. So, see how blue that is. Maybe I don't want it that blue. Maybe I want it a little bit warmer than it was. Yeah, I think I like it warmer. All right, I'm going to keep it like that. I might change my mind later on, but that's what I'm keeping it at. Okay, hope you like what I showed you here. I do see some areas that I think I could improve on. Let me do that right now. You know what I could do? Let me take this layer here and make it darker. Can I do that? Oh, I gotta hide this first. Ooh, I don't like that at all. All right, let me go back to it. Oh my gosh, I don't like that at all. Let me get rid of it. Yeah, that's okay. We'll leave it like it is. I still feel like that could be better. All right, let me paint over that one layer there. Just a little bit more. A little bit more of something. A little bit darker. Oops, I covered my name. Let me get rid of that. There. All right. Yeah, I forgot I was painting on the inserted layer. Well, I think that's okay. There we go. I guess that looks okay. All right, I'm going to call it done. Thank you again. I already said goodbye, I think, earlier, but I just felt like there was a few more things I needed to fix. Thank you for watching. Hope you liked The Fisherman. I will name it that, and thank you for watching. My website is larrywhitler.com, and we also have an Etsy shop where we sell files, so you can print these yourself if you want to. All right, that's it. Take care. Bye for now. See you later. See you later, kids.